Peace and blessings, family. Peace and blessings. This is your brother Sean Ali here, Supreme Health and Wellness by Sean Ali. And as always, family, I thank each and every one of you who tunes in and shares some of your very valuable time and energy. And as always, I pray that this brief message is received in the spirit that I am striving to deliver it in, which is the spirit of your brother, the spirit of love, and of course, and always in the spirit and in the name of God. Family, I pray that all is well with you, your loved ones, that as this message is finding you, that you are in the midst of your greatness, of your power, of doing exactly what you had planned on doing. And just in case something isn't right, I pray that one of these brief messages that I'm going to share can help assist you in achieving your goals, right? And I wanted to come and talk about today a fun but heavy topic, right? And this is self-control and how to set myself in heaven. Woo! And I'm a follower of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, a believer in the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in the Nation of Islam. And one of our teachings is that we are responsible for sitting ourselves in the heaven at once, right? And we also learn that heaven and hell are conditions of our mind. Woo! So when we are looking at that, we are commanded to set ourselves in heaven at once. And we are taught that there is no heaven after you die. The heaven is right now, and they are conditions of our mind, right? So this means that the condition of my mind will manifest through my physical actions. And once they manifest, I will either have created heaven for myself or I will have caused hell for myself. But it's all up to me. So when we are looking at the human body, right? When we are looking at the image and likeness of God, we have to understand the anatomy of it, the physiology of it, so we can use it properly. So when we don't understand, a knowledge of self includes more than who you are, where you are from, and your name. You must know your physical body. You must know your anatomy. You must know the physiology of your anatomy in order for you to be able to create your heaven, or you will always be stuck in causing hell in your life. So when we are looking at this, I have a manual. It's called The God Factory, Neuroscience for the Mind of God and You. That's right. Your brother is a neuroscientist. You see how in that picture that hand is holding the brain? See, when you are looking at the brain in the body, yes, this is our most powerful organ, but we control it. See, that's the beauty. Yeah, and look, when you're looking at the body, when you're looking at our human body, right? When you look at the front, the posterior, right, view, you can see all of the vital organs right there being presented, right? When you look at that interior, the back view, now you can see the control center. See, this is the highway, our spinal column. In the spinal column, look, we can remove, this is one of our thoracic vertebrae. In that center, this is where the nerves travel. So this is where when you're looking at your central nervous system, this is where your central nervous system travels down your spinal column. So, and from it, you have the neurons that branch off, and they coordinate to send a signal from your body, from your brain, down your brain stem, down the medulla oblongata, down the brain stem to whatever part of your body that needs to be activated or controlled, right? So when we are looking at self-control and we are looking at the mindset of heaven versus the mindset of hell, okay, let us look at this. They say heaven is above, hell is below. Okay, so if you're looking at this, because this is the highway on which our power travels, your energy travels, the electrical system travels. So when you're looking at the nervous system real quick, it's comprised of two main parts, your sympathetic and your parasympathetic. The sympathetic nervous system is the one that is with the autonomic. It does it instantaneously. It causes your heart to beat. It causes your body to inhale and exhale. It causes the reflexes, right? So when you are looking at the other branch is the parasympathetic. And para means anything coming off of that central nervous system. So when you're looking at the parasympathetic nervous system, this comprised of the parasympathetic nervous system comprises of two main parts, your motor and your sensory. Now, when you're looking at the sections of the brain, the frontal lobe, this is the cerebellum. This is where your concentration, your consciousness, the thinking, and all of that good, important stuff come at, that higher understanding, that higher degree, right? It comes right here. This is your parietal lobe, right? Which separates the parietal lobe from the frontal lobe is a fissure, right? And it on one side you have your motor, on one side you have your sensory. These are both comprised or controlled through the parasympathetic nervous system. So listen, any intake, any sensory that's coming from your legs, your feet, from any part of your body, it travels up your spine to your medulla oblongata through the pons, and it hits your limbic system. Your limbic system is right here, right? That comprises of your amygdala, your hippocampus, your hypothalamus, and no, not your hypothalamus. Your main one is your amygdala. So when that information or that sensory comes, your limbic system processes it first for fight or flight. And it will either have a sensory of pain, danger, fear, aggression, and it processes it first for fight or flight before it sends that signal to your thinking part of your brain. So the emotional part is instantaneous. The emotional reaction is instantaneous. You could be walking, you could think you see something that's a snake and you run. After you get away from the danger, the thinking part kicks in and you say, oh man, that's not a snake, that's a stick. Then you walk back to it and you see. So when you have all incoming information is processed through that limbic system, through that fight or flight system, right? And this is where we can get stuck at, which is why I'm mentioning it. Because if we aren't grounded in reality, if we don't know who we are, who God is, who our open enemy is, depending on the mental food, if you still believe that the sky is blue, Christopher Columbus discovered America, and all of these other fairy tales, this feeds the limbic system to receive information distorted. And it will classify a non-threatening event as threatening and send you into fight or flight. And this is hell. See, when we study, when we learn and we get that higher education with religion, with academics, with studying, right? And we improve and activate that cerebral, that front part. When that information, when those senses come in, the brain is instantaneously processing it. And it can send it to the thinking part without any interference, right? I hope this is making sense because I'm trying to make it as less complicated as possible because some of these parts and names, they make them complicated on purpose. But the control of our body is easy because it's all right here. This is our God factory. This is the control center, the power center. If we know the parts, we know everything here controls everything here. So when we are looking at heaven and hell and they say heaven is high and hell is low, look at the organs. Let's look at the organs. Look at what's below and look at what's high. Okay, so you have your stomach, your intestines, you have your reproductive organs. Okay, so when you're hungry, what happens when you are hungry? What happens when you become sexually stimulated, or what they call being horny, right? What happens? So when you eat something, right? When you are in a state of rest in your stomach and you haven't eaten anything, the power is here. When you activate one of those organs, your stomach, your digestive system, they need electrical energy, right? They need energy flowing to them. So that means the power travels down your spine to that vertebrae that activates your digestive system. So you eat something. After you eat, what's one of the first things you feel? Tired, right? You can't, it's hard to concentrate after you eat, because once you've eaten, that power is here. It's in your midsection, right? So the organ at the other end of your spine suffers. So you become weak mentally. You become weak cognitively, right? So you're easily fooled. You're easily angered. You're easily triggered. You're easily pushed. You easily make the wrong decisions, right? So look at your reproductive organs, right? When we become sexually stimulated, that energy travels down and it activates that gonads. For the men, your testes; for the women, your ovaries. And that system becomes activated. When you are sexually aroused, you can't think about nothing else but pleasing yourself. You can't think about nothing else but getting that off, right? And that you become stuck. You will chase the wrong thing, right? This will have you putting yourself in a dangerous predicament, a hellish condition. Look at all of the one night, that's what a one night stand usually is. It's from when you get sexually aroused and your energy is here. So you can't think clearly. So you'll sleep, you'll be involved with anybody or anything to get yourself off. See, self-control. How do I set myself in heaven? This is the kingdom of God right here. Right? This is heaven. When we overly stimulate, you eat 1 time, 2 times, 3 times a day. You are sexually aroused, right? You bring that power down into the lower organs. And when they become energized, they say don't think with the little head, think with the big head. That's what they tell men. Because when this section become energized, you are now driven by instinct, by desire, by want, by lust. And you will do, and in that condition, the thinking part is shut down. Your cerebral, this cortex is shut down. And now you are stuck. They call it emotional hijacking, where your energy is stuck in that limbic system. So you just having to want to please, that pleasure. And it's so overwhelming, you can't control yourself. You lose the thinking control over your body. And you can't even stop your arms and legs from putting yourself in a dangerous situation. And you might even ask yourself, why me? Why do I always do that? Why does that always happen to me? So when we are looking at this, I just wanted to come with a brief message to show, if we looking at this body, and this is your processing system, this is the God factory, your brain. Right? So when we break this apart and we do neuroscience and we study in anatomy and physiology, it's easy for us to see that, yes, heaven and hell are conditions of the mind. Because if I have a mindset filled with desire and lust and instinct, and I can't control it, they have a part of your brain. This section of your brain, this is the animal section, right? They call that animal part, the part that is similar in all life forms or vertebrate life forms, right? This is that they say that the human brain developed from here to here over time. So when you're looking at that, it's easy. It's easy if we don't have proper teaching, proper training, proper guidance to elevate that energy in the usage of the brain. We can get stuck and we will grow that limbic system. They can dissect the brain and look at the amygdala and see that it's grown because of an overstimulated fight or flight. So when you're looking at that, another one is called the HPA axis, right? The HPA, the hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal glands axis. That's the stress axis. So the hypothalamus activates the pituitary gland, which send that signal down. The adrenal glands are on the T12 vertebrae. So that signal comes from the hypothalamus to the pituitary gland, down the spinal column to T12, and it goes to the adrenal glands, making them secrete cortisol, adrenaline, epinephrine, which is adrenaline. And that's the stress axis. That's the hell axis. See, when you are in a condition where you are living off of adrenaline and cortisol, you are in a state of stress. You're missing all of the good hormones, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins, right? We missing all of these good things because we don't understand the anatomy and physiology, so we don't know how to use our bodies. Right? In the Nation of Islam, we have a gift. The restrictive laws of Islam is our success. This book is by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. This is mental food, right? The restrictive laws, they keep you. You're no lusting, no gambling, right? No, all of the things that would take your power from your brain to here, the base animal instinct desires, right? Right, that base life, right? When they say higher self, lower self, the organs, this is where it travels at, right? So the restrictive laws, they put in our mind, on our brain, a new way of looking at life, thinking, and living. So now, when I'm looking at women, I'm not lusting. I'm not wanting to rub or pat on them. I can see the God, right? I'm not looking to steal or take, rob or take advantage of, right? I'm striving to be upright and righteous. Man, that's how we control. That's how we keep our power here. So when we're looking at in the Bible, Jesus was talking to the disciples, came up to Jesus and they were like, hey, we were trying to cast some devils like we saw you do, but we couldn't do it. And Jesus was like, because of your lack of faith. If you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you could say to that mountain, move, and it will move, right? But this type of power doesn't come except through prayer and fasting. Woo! See, when you are praying, you are using the frontal lobe, that cerebral cortex, that thinking part of your brain. You are activating the higher energy. Listen, and when you are looking at the brain, these aren't organs or parts like you can see on the rest of your body. These are sections, right? So when you are looking, the section that's activated the most will take neurons from other parts of the brain. So when you're looking at this brain, right, they have it. And when you're looking at the shape of it, you have gray matter and you have white matter. The gray matter is the neurons. That's the body of the neurons that are covering. The white matter is the axons. The axons are covered with myelin sheaths, and they appear white. So when you're looking at the brain, it's nothing but a big neuron energy nerve factory, right? So when you activate these neurons, right, the brain doesn't grow, but the section can grow. So you can grow your cerebral cortex section by thinking more, by activating your thoughts more, by studying, by reading, by praying, by fasting, by abstaining from the lower energies. When we fast, we abstain from the lower activation of these organs. So if I'm not eating and the stomach isn't activated, the power never goes down. Listen, if I'm fasting once every 24 hours, once every 2 days, once every 72 hours, right? That means I only have a short window of period of time where I lose my energy, right? Listen, because if I'm not eating, the energy has no reason to come down. So it stays here where I can think, where I can be, where I can do. If I'm not sexually stimulated all the time, see, that power isn't down here. And the organ power is down here in your sacrum. That's the lowest basest part. See, so when we're looking at self-control, how to set myself in heaven, right? This is the religious spiritual aspects are physical. The religious spiritual aspects are physical because the mental state of your mind will produce the physical condition of your body and your life, right? So if you gotta, man, listen, this concept, get your manual, right? The God Factory, your brain. Neuroscience for the mind of God and you. Once we know it and how it works, we can use it. Use it to do what? Use it to create your heaven at once. That is all up to you, family, right? I just wanted to come and show you a realistic understanding of it and how we can physically be in heaven, how we can physically be young, how we can physically be happy and free and strong and full of love and full of God. And then we can say, kun fa kun, be, and it becomes. Woo! Let's go. You are all God's children of the Most High God. Man. And he blessed them with dominion. It's up to us to decide to be. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said his mission can be summed up in 6 great words. Accept your own and be yourself. Woo! Man. So family, listen, thank you all for tuning in. If there's any questions, please feel free to contact your brother. Listen, if you have a particular element or ailment, if you have a particular condition, ailment, imbalance that you have going on anywhere here, contact me so I can show you the part of the brain that controls it. I can show you the pathway to it, and then we can work on exercising how you can use your body and overcome it. Man, that's powerful right there. Family, thank you all for tuning in, man. I'm your brother, Sean Ali, here at Supreme Health and Wellness by Sean Ali. I leave you in the spirit that I came, the spirit of your brother, the spirit of love, and of course, and always in the spirit and in the name of God. Family, listen, go, carpe diem, seize your day, conquer your day. Go, now that you know, create your heaven and set yourself in it at once. That is all up to you. Love you, family. Peace.